Well, hello. I've got about 2 or 3 hours fishing. I'm down at a local pit and I've had a little mooch around. I've actually found a few fish in the snags and the edge where they tend to be at this time of year. And I flicked a few pellets out. One of the stockies started having a little go. So that's positive. I've noticed sorry, I'm out of breath, I've been walking a while. I've also seen like a bit of a fly hatch going on, and sort of birds, swifts and stuff, just skimming the surface, obviously eating the insects and flies and bits and bobs they're hatching. And I've also seen a couple of carp sort of near the surface, and one of them was acting very strange. It was kind of like spinning, like they do when they feed on the bottom. Or like when they rub their flanks on the bottom, it was doing that like, I don't know, a foot or two under the surface. So I can only assume that he's rather enjoying himself, smashing the fly hatch. So I've got some zigs with me, got some stalking gear, got 3 hours. See how I get on. So the zigs are out, and my little stalky spot, buddy, get down. It's coloured up to buggery. Sorry to swear, but it's clearly been fed on, and the snag's just next to us. There's about 4 or 5 fish in there, so they're definitely around. So I'm going to go and quickly make a rig up while there's nothing there, get a rig settled in the area, flick a few pellet over, and hopefully it won't rattle off. Don't know whether you can see, but there's actually a fish on the spot now, having a little feed up. Look, there he is, look, cheeky monkey. Look. Oh, he's just drifting away now. Look, you can just see them. Oh, there's a few, and they're loving the pellet. Oh, yes. Right, I've got to go and get a rig ready now. Got to go and get it ready. Oh, look, they're loving it, look. Oh, I love watching them like this. Time to get. So there you go, nice simple rig, nice and short, little tuna hook bait with a little yellow, tiny bit of foam as a bit of visual aid, some tungsten loaded, size 6 crank, bish bash bosh, 3 bits of putty. Let's go get them. Well, apologies for the real Gumby filming. I've only got my phone with me and I haven't brought loads of gear. So this stocky is the result of 3 hours fishing, stalking. It's a lovely little thing. I think it's been ottered. This stocky has actually been put in as a result of the otters savaging the originals in this lake, and it's sad to see that these are getting done as well. Look at his tail, bless him. Right, I'm going to get him home, but what a beautiful creature. Hope you survive the otters, fella. Anyway, let's get her back. Might be able to catch another one. So, just got down the lake and it took me all of about 5 seconds to spot some fish. They seem very active. Within about the space of about 30 seconds, I've seen 3 fish all boom out on the end of this. Oh, it's probably a southerly, southwesterly wind, really warm, sunny, and they're definitely on the end of it in a swim known as Clarkies. So I'm going to give it a go in here. No one else here, which is fantastic. Love this lake. It's really deep, really clear. Fish are absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to get going. I think I'm going to fish all the rods on the bottom today. It's quite windy. I normally like to fish zigs on here. It's just quite windy, and I do fancy it on the bottom, even though it's quite deep. I'm going to put a little bit of bait in, go for it a little bit, see if I can get the fish down, and yeah, see what happens. Just to my right over there is quite a dense sort of reed bed, and it really shallows off. So I'm going to put one just on the shelf of that. Now I'm going to fish the other 2 just in deep water where I keep seeing these fish show. So that's the plan. Hopefully it'll work. Well, soon enough, evening was upon us. Pooch was settled, the kettle was on, all 3 rods were out, and I was there enjoying a wonderful sunset on this beautiful little clay pit. The sun soon went down and it left me to watch, yes, Love Island. Well, good morning. I caught one in the night at about midnight, something like that. Rod rattled off, and after a little fight I landed a little stocky. Not a very big one, must have been, I don't know, maybe just double figures, but it was a pretty little thing. And it was nice to get back into the groove after being away and not fishing for probably a month now. So yeah, fantastic. I got up early this morning, saw a few fish out in the middle, so decided to throw out a zig float, and I've got about half an hour left, 3/4 an hour. Got a zig float out there on one rod, the other two are on the bottom, and you never know, one might rattle off before I go home, but if not, I'm well chuffed. Little stocky, back in the groove, and can't wait to go again Wednesday or Thursday night. So yeah, brilliant. After flitting around on the little clay pit, my real campaign was just about to begin on the huge park lake in the city, and I couldn't wait to begin. So I've decided to go into the syndicate swim because I've seen several fish show on the far bank, unfortunately, where I can't quite get to because the zip wires come down, or the metal wires even, from the sort of skiing, the slalom or whatever you call it, that's going on over there. But I can get quite near. I've gone sort of as near as possible. I've whacked all 3 rods out there, all on pop-ups. Sorry, you can probably hear my music in the background. Yes, all 3 rods are out. They're all on pop-ups, all blasted out there, all on clear spots. Feels like a bit sort of sandy, very shallow, probably only 3 or 4 foot in depth, which is why I'm in this end really. It's quite warm, you know, it's summertime, and they love getting in the shallows. I've seen a few fish over by the bridge over there that I quite often see them in. It's completely no fishing zone. People feed the ducks there and all that malarkey. So the carp absolutely love it over there. Loads of food, no doubt. They smash the bread. They smash the bread from the geese and swans on the surface and stuff. So they love it over there. So the rods are out. I'm just hoping that the fish will venture out and get a bite. See what happens. I keep seeing fish show, and you can see my finger, in this sort of zone, and also in this sort of zone. There's a bridge over here where the carp seem to go in all day long. Oh, bless me. And all this area is sort of completely out of bounds, which is of course where the fish are. People feed the geese here like all the time, and the ducks, and there's always carp in this area. But this zip line sort of, it's not a zip line, it's like a metal wire that's coming over here, stops me from casting sort of over the top, which is a bit annoying. So I've sort of proceeded to get some baits near to this sort of wooden platform, and yeah, hopefully I'll get a bite. You never know. It's very wet on the park. Absolutely raining cats and dogs. Lovely. And I've just had a bream in it. Awesome. Well, good morning. I am absolutely shattered, as you can probably tell. I had 5 bream in the night and I lost a carp. It's very rare that I lose them, so I'm absolutely gutted. I'm fishing the rods quite close to some wooden platforms, so when I get a bite, I'm literally picking up the rod and walking backwards to keep them away from any trouble. As I did this, unfortunately, the hook pulled. So yeah, absolutely gutted, shattered through catching so many snotty old bream throughout the night, recasting, rebaiting, etc, etc. Yeah, I'm a bit gutted, to be honest. So I'm going to pack up and I'm going to have to make up for it Monday night. So that's fishing. Well, just in the garden, and I bought a little device that I think is going to help me with baiting up. It will certainly make it a little bit quicker. It was bright red and black, and looked like a little children's scooter, so I've turned it into something very carpy. Look at that bad boy. Yeah, boy, little camo scooter going on. Awesome. I started to become close to that little scooter, and over the next few weeks I used it all the time for my pre-baiting campaign. It was so easy just to throw the scooter in the boot, a bucket and a throwing stick, along with pooch of course, and I was soon primed and ready for my next session. Evening, I am all set up down the big lake once again, and the weather is pretty epic. I've got a nice warm breeze sort of trickling into the swim. There's loads of people skiing, walking the dogs, running round. It's all go on the park. And about 10-15 minutes ago, my middle rod, absolutely slammed up tight. I'm fishing bowstring tight lines. The clutches screwed right up to braid. Rod was nearly ripped out of the rest, and after picking the rod up, I walked back really quickly to try and keep it away from the many buoys and sort of metal stanchions and stuff that are out there, and eventually had a swirling on the surface and duly netted a lovely common of, I don't know, scraper 20s, but what a lovely fish it was. Really dark, perfectly clean, beautiful mouth, just a great gravel pit common. They're lovely fish in here, honestly. They're absolutely immaculate. There's a mixture of commons, mirrors, scaly ones, more sparsely scaled, sort of bruisers. There's all sorts. So loving fish in here. I caught that one on a tuna white pop-up, slung out there over some pre-bait that I put in about 3 or 4 days ago. And the plan of changing over to the braid, which I talked about on my last session. I was fishing mono and lost a fish in the night, I think due to the extra stretch, the fish sort of being able to kite to where I didn't want it to kite. Yeah, so the braid, I was in instant contact even, and managed to get her in. So far, plan has worked. I'm here for the night and can't wait for the night time. Hopefully some more action will be forthcoming, so I'll keep you posted. Well, the rods were soon back out after that right result, and the park was as busy as usual with runners, cyclists, dog walkers. We didn't care. We'd caught one, hadn't we, Pooch? Well, we're just getting into evening time, and what better way to toast my first capture than with a nice cider. Oh, that tastes all the sweeter now I've caught one. It's still looking good. I'm just going to stir me dinner. Got a nice curry on. Things are still looking good. The weather's going to come in tonight. We're going to have a bit of a weather front at about 11 o'clock apparently. Bit of thunder, bit of lightning, which is kind of scary. But it's going to absolutely hammer down with rain. It's going to stay really humid and really warm. So it's perfect weather, absolutely perfect weather. So I'm really hopeful of another take. So if I do, I'll see you soon. But if not, I'm going to enjoy the evening anyway, and knowing that I've already caught one. Well chuffed with that. So I'm going to eat my curry now and speak to you soon. Mozzies are an absolute nightmare tonight, so I'm going to light up this bad boy, which is meant to be a bit of an insect mosquito repelling candle. Looks pretty cool, so I'm going to light it up, give it a go. I'll let you know if it works. Well, good morning. I've woken up to a really wet morning. It was a bit moody in the night, a bit stormy, started raining about 2 in the morning. Didn't catch anything in the night, unfortunately, which was strange. After catching that one yesterday, I thought I might have a few, but yeah, nothing. But this morning looks good. I've got an hour left, pouring down with rain, so it's going to be fun packing up in this. The conditions are epic. It's really warm, really mild. Feels great for a bite, to be honest. So come on, hopefully this next hour will do me a bite. You never know. If not, see you next time. What a beautiful carp. So many scales. It looks like a common, but it's actually a fully scaled. Absolutely magnificent. Tuna white's doing me proud once again. What a beautiful carp. Well chuffed. Right, let's get you back. Check that one out. Caught in a torrential downpour, as you can see. It's absolutely hammering down with rain. What a cracker. They're so scaly in here. Absolute beauty. I'm well chuffed with that one. I haven't got long left and they're absolutely having it, so a bit gutted that I'm going to have to leave, but I've got to leave at some point, so I'm going to be well chuffed with that one, get her back and revel in what a great session it's been. I've caught 3 fish now and I am over the moon. Well, I'm back down the park for another 24-hour session. I've got Tom from Aqua coming down this morning and Alex Grice as well to do a few bits and pieces for CC Moore and Aqua. There's no one here, it's really empty. The park is pretty empty. All the ski ramps, all the bits and bobs that are running on a day-to-day basis are zero. Nothing's happening at all. That's because, unfortunately, there's a bit of an algae bloom on the lake. There's a bit of blue-green algae, and I'm not sure whether it's going to make the fishing a little bit hard. Quite often in the past, I found it a bit of a struggle when the algae sets in because clarity goes really difficult to see in the water. Clarity completely goes. I don't know whether it's because the fish can't see it or whatever, but the lake is normally gin clear, so it might make the fishing a bit of a struggle, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. I love it down here. I've got a massive love for this park. It's a bit dodgy at night time, if I'm honest. Last week in the pouring rain, I caught a fish at about 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, was sitting in the bivvy, sort of tying up a new rig, and someone was walking past on their phone in the peeing down with rain in the middle of the night, which was all a bit odd. He probably thought I was odd fishing, but I think it was odder that he was walking around a lake where it actually takes you to nowhere, really. You get lots of kids in the night mucking about behind the swim, on like the gym apparatus and stuff behind. I mean, that can go on till sort of 1, 2 in the morning. People drunk that are walking back. So it's a bit dodgy at night, and to be honest, I never really get any sleep. I might get 2 hours sleep maximum in the morning when it's just getting light. But I absolutely love it. The fish are incredible. I just want to get through to one of those old original mirrors at some point. But in the meantime, I don't mind catching some of the stockies. They're beautiful scaly fish. There's some mega commons in here as well. So yeah, loving it down here. Hopefully I'm going to catch something. Well, the boys are here today, and look at that little beast. Not the little beast inside the beast, but the little beast. Oh, don't swear, that's very unkind. We don't have swearing on Jimmy's diary. Look at that. That is the new Camo Pioneer, and that is Thomas filming it. Awesome bit of kit. As you probably know, I've been using the green one. Rock solid, quick to put up. Just goes on top of the barrow. Look at the little wasp in there. Jimmy's diary. Look at this, boys. Just gone on the hashtag trike life, but it's not really actually a trike. It's a scooter. And he scooted off to get somebody. Is that he? Oh, what a lovely boy. Look.
Wasp likes an cornet.
Oh yes. Boom. Yes. Oh. The little boy's come to see me. Who's that? Hello? Hello, monkey. You come to see me fishing?
What's that?
They're my fishing rods. They're my fishing rods, aren't they? Are you going to do some fishing? Yeah? You go then. Ready? Put it in like that. That's it. Ready? Oh, nearly, not quite enough power. Ready? Right, ready? Whoa, good one. Well, unfortunately, last night was a blank, and I'm absolutely convinced that it was because of the algae that's in the water. If you have a look here, it's absolutely horrible stuff, and it's just giving zero clarity to the water. So I'm convinced that that was the problem. I don't think I'm going to be back now until this stuff clears, because it's definitely affecting the fish. You know, I had one bream last night, saw one carp in the day, that was it. So I'm going to give it a rest until this algae's gone, and then I'll be back on it. See you later. Well, that weekend I decided to give the lake a rest. We went up to visit Lewis Porter and Abby up at their beautiful house in Peterborough, and to meet the new dog, Piper, his beautiful little puppy Pooch. As always, they cooked a fantastic meal. Here's old Lou Dog on the barbecue. He didn't really want to be in Jimmy's diary. We went out for some beautiful walks along the riverside. The next few days, I went up to the lake again, popped in to see the old man who was fishing over at Thurston Lake, tiddler bashing, catching a few roach, bream, hybrids, that sort of stuff. It was great. My old man loves fishing too and actually taught me to fish. I then had a couple more sessions over at the lake, but unfortunately all I caught was a couple of tinkers. Right, mate. Go on. Rack off. Well, the temperature started to soar and it was time to do a little bit of floater fishing. I went down to my local clay pit and found plenty of fish willing to take mixers off the surface. I had some small ones, some large ones, which quite often tempts them into feeding, and poor old Barley was a little bit hot, although he had plenty of water with him. I was soon rigged up with some duo floater hook baits, my favourite floater fishing hook baits, and spent a frustrating few hours trying to winkle them off the surface.
So what we got here then, mate?
My floater setup is that basically, which is an interceptor float, a long sort of 5 to 6 foot hook length of N-gauge, size 8 mixer hook, and of course a duo floater, super glued on. Lovely. Well, I moved swims and bang, one decided to take the hook bait and I was in. As you can see here, it was pretty hairy. I had to run and grab my landing net. It was right next to the camera, and then pretty much jump in the water. I took a Converse off, jumped in the water and let battle commence. As you can see here, little Barley Pooch decided to get the Converse and hide them in the bush next to me. After playing the fish for around 5 minutes, unfortunately disaster struck and the hook pulled. I'd continued baiting the big pit in between, and my next session fell on a very warm day once again. I decided to move swims up near the bridge as it gave me a large expanse of open water, and I just wasn't convinced that they were in the syndicate swim. There was a lovely chop blowing in here as well, and I was sure that the fish were going to be on the wind. So I'm back down the big pit once again, and I'm in a different area this time. The normal area that I'd been baiting up just feels devoid of carp at the moment. When I was catching a few weeks ago, I used to see the fish sort of under the bridge and lurking about there, and I haven't seen a fish there for a few weeks, and I've done 2-3 nights since without any carp, so just feel like they've fled the area now. So headed up to a more of an open water spot. I've been trickling some bait in, and it's just a big expanse of open water. I found a couple of nice little spots in between the weed beds at range,
so I'm going to concentrate on them for the next few weeks. They show very, very rarely in here. I'm going to have a proper look in the morning because I can see a lot of the water here. Yeah, they don't show that much. Oh, I was just looking at the rod tips bouncing. I've had nightmare swan trouble today. I had about 9 swans in my swim earlier, and they were wiping my rods out. A few of them were young, clueless little idiots, just swimming through the lines constantly. They were doing my nutting. They seem to have slowed down now until then. But yeah, been a bit of a frustrating day, but I'm hoping that my efforts and frustrations will be rewarded maybe later in the night or first thing in the morning. Rods are out on pop-ups as usual on a clean silty spot over a load of triple X and tuna, so see what happens. Amazing things over at this park, and over Tom's shoulder, that geezer I'm trying to be Saturday because I think he could see me filming him. That geezer there has just fallen off his bike, bless him. The saddle of his bike just fell off. He's trying to put it back on. Poor bugger. I'm going to try and make out that I'm like filming my rods and stuff, but the poor fella over here, he's trying to put his seat back on. Oh, bless him. He's about to cycle off without his saddle. Poor bloke. He's off, saddleless. Where's your saddle gone?
I did feel sorry for that guy on the bike, but that evening was absolutely beautiful. The park was as busy as normal, with people walking the banks, cyclists, dog walkers, but Tom Gibson and I had a great social that evening, and I felt really confident that something was going to happen. I didn't go to sleep until the early hours. I really did feel confident, and it was a beautiful evening.
Well, good morning. It is first light, and I've caught one. Rod rattled off in the early hours, and absolute blister intake on the braid. Rip roaring run, and netted a really, really lovely scaly mirror carp. Tom from Aqua stayed over, had a bit of a social last night. Took a few pictures of the new camo Pioneer in the dark, and yeah, rod rattled off, so looking forward to getting some nice footage, some lovely pictures to show you all. And yeah, I'm delighted because I'm in a new area. It's always nice to get a bite in a new area, so I can continue baiting it and be happy that I'm on spots that I know the carp visit. So well chuffed with that. I'm going to get the kettle on, have a quick cup of tea, charge up for the day. I can't wait to get this fish out. We on camera, are we?
Yeah.
Well, that is the result of that rip-roaring run that I had in the early hours. Wow, that is what you call a scaly carp. Caught from a new spot as well, so I'm well happy with that. It's great to have Tom here as well, so I can get some great pictures. Absolute torpedo with the mirror part of this. Stunning.
Oh dear, someone's barrow has fallen over. Poor old Tom. Luckily you got them hard cases on the camera.